everyone, I'm here with a quick video showing you what decks I'm going to be working with for the month of January. So if you are getting a reading from me, whether you're one of my subscribers or you go to the Etsy shop, you're probably going to get a reading with these decks unless it's a specific reading with specific decks. But also I just wanted to show you because I like showing my tarot cards and I also want to know what you're working with for the month of January. So let's get started first with the tarot deck that I'm going to be using for the month of January, and that is the Rose Tarot by Nigel Jackson. So I really love Nigel Jackson's artwork. I'm actually working with the Witches runes, which are this month as well, which is also the artworks by Nigel Jackson. Like, I'm teaching runes on my Patreon, and I'm using those cards to teach them with, and it's the same artist, and I love his artwork. This tarot I was not aware of until I saw Simon from the Hermit's Cave show this particular deck, and I was intrigued because I really love his artwork. Also, to be honest, this is a Marseille deck, and I am not a fan of Marseille decks. I don't like pit decks. But this deck has a bit of a twist because the pips have little vignettes in them, and that I find really helpful. So I went ahead and got this. It is Llewellyn style deck with, you know, it's got the nice sturdy box, it's got the magnetic closure. You open it up, it's all pretty inside. You've got your beautiful guidebook. Now, I did look through this guidebook and it is very pretty. So you've got full color illustrations and you've got information on each card. There's also a really nice introduction. And then you've got some information at the back about sort of Hermeticism and the Marseille deck and the Rose Garden of the Hermetic Theosophers, that kind of information. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of this guidebook. I looked through, and the way the style of his writing I find to be kind of wordy, and just it did not grab me. But the deck itself is really good. So despite the guidebook, and I mean, it is a beautiful guidebook, it's just the writing style is just not for me. The deck itself is really beautiful. So love the artwork on this deck. So it is a Marseille style deck. It is very medieval styled, European medieval. Love it. I love the colors on this. I love his particular style because it's sort of pastel, but it's still very colorful, very vibrant. It makes me think of like it's being colored with really nice pencil crayons, if that makes sense. But it's just a really beautiful deck. You've got the world here. It's got a lot of sort of like medieval symbolism in it, which I like, coming from my background. If you don't know, I have a bachelor, like an honors degree in fine art, and I specialized in medieval history. Before I went into fine art, I was taking history as my major, and I specialized in like medieval history. So that's my jam. So love the artwork. It's really beautiful. Love the symbolism here. You can see here that strength is number 11 rather than number 8, which is very Marseille. But the thing that kind of sold me on this deck, because again, I don't really like pip decks, is that each of them has this little, I keep mixing up the word here, but mandorla I think it's called, where it's got a little vignette that's kind of showing you the meaning of the card. So it's not as pippish as I feared it might be. This is beautiful hermit here. See here, we got the 7 of coins. We got him relaxing and resting by a tree. Very pretty. Chariot. I love all the symbolism in here. You've got the wheels of like Ezekiel's chariot here. You've got the 4 tetramorph, which are the symbols of the four elements and the 4 fixed zodiac sign, but also symbols of the 4. Pardon me. Pardon me. I'm gonna cut that out. The 4, also the symbols of the 4 gospels. See, we got here 6 of coins. He's planting seeds. It's just a really lovely deck, and I thought it would be great to start off the new year with a lovely new deck that I've only worked with a little bit because I just picked it up in November. So I'm excited to work with this deck. Now, I like to pair my decks with Oracle as well as Cartomancy. So I'm going to show you that. The Oracle deck I've picked to work with is another new deck, and it is the Winter Seer Oracles. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. So this is another one I picked up in November. I actually, for some reason, I think because it said Winter Seer, I thought, oh, it's going to come in like January. But I love this deck. It's by Silo Thompson, who also did the Line Strider Tarot as well as the Botanical Hedgewitch Oracle, which I really love. Again, beautiful box, no complaint about the box, very pretty inside. This guidebook, unlike the Rose Tarot guidebook, is awesome. Love this guidebook for working with this Oracle deck. It has both upright and upside down meanings. This deck is all like northern animals, so like northern European, North American type animals. And I mean, hey, I live on the Canadian prairies. It is winter, so it is a wonderful time to bring out the Winter Seer Oracle. So again, you've got glossy, full color. You've got information about the card and in a reading, both right side up and upside down. And just, it is a lovely, lovely guidebook. So I'm very, very happy with that. The cards themselves are really beautiful. I'm going to zoom in a bit. I love this style with the drawings with the watercolor. It's got a lot of white space in it, which I think is sort of hallmark of her style. And I think works really well with the colors in the Rose Tarot, but also the Marseille cards, or the Pip cards, pardon me, tend to have a lot of white space. So I think these work really well together. So we got the swan here, the stag. I like the backs too. They kind of look like a Rorschach test with animals in it a little bit. Got the raccoon. The wolf. Oh, the donkey. I love the donkey. Got a crab here. I love his keyword defend, and he's got his claw up like he's defending himself. Got the robin. This looks more like a European robin, but hey, that's okay. Goat. Love goats. The magpie. Salmon. It's just a beautiful deck, and I think it'll pair really, really well with the Rose Tarot. And I love animal decks. I love animal decks, and this one being kind of like northern animals, I think is just perfect for me. Now, of course, I always like to accompany these with a cartomancy deck. And so for several years in a row, I've been using at the start of the year the Maybe Lenormand. So this Lenormand deck has 52 cards in it. So it combines both the traditional Lenormand with some of the cartomancy cards in more of the German style decks. My one complaint about this box is I really hate it when the tray divides the deck into two, but what can you do, right? These cards I think will go really well, again, because of they have a lot of white space in them. And also I think this is just a really fun deck, and I think it lends a little bit of whimsy. And I also feel like the drawings in the Rose Tarot have a bit of whimsy to them. I find that a lot of medieval drawings have sometimes a little bit of a cartoonish illustrative element to them. So here we have the Sun, a traditional Lenormand card, and you've got your card in the card, like the regular sort of playing card deck association in here as well. The metal is something that's not in your regular Lenormand, but is in some of the German style decks. Same with the safe. That's a very German style card. We've got the mice here eating this lovely bundt cake. We've got the crossroads. This, I think, this is supposed to be clouds. This is like the clouds card. Got the house here. We've got the lion. Again, that's not a traditional card for Lenormand, but it is for German decks. We've got the rider here. So I really like working with this because it's a little more expansive. I love the sort of whimsical drawings that we have here. Really enjoy working with this deck, and again, I think it'll pair very well with the other two decks. Now I do have one more Oracle deck that I am working with, because as much as I do like pairing with Oracle decks, I also like to have either like a god or goddess or angel type deck in the mix when I'm doing readings. I find that it lends like, I don't know, like a little bit of celestial and god, goddess energy to things. And for this, I'm using the Goddess Oracle. This is probably it's definitely my oldest goddess deck, and it is the first oracle deck I think I ever bought. I bought it back at university, back when I was like, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I think I got this deck in 99 actually. So this is the original Goddess Oracle. I think the backings are a little bit different now. It's been well used. You can see the edges are all yellowed. I just really like working with this in January. I don't know why, but beginning of the year, turning to this goddess deck, I find I just always keep going back to it. I find that it is a deck that I've had now for like 20 years, and I just keep going back to it and keep using it. It has, I think, one of the best artistic depictions of the different gods, or pardon me, of the different goddesses through across cultures. So I think they really tried to honor the cultures that these particular goddesses came from, and the artwork is just stunning. Got Izumi from Japanese Shintoism. We've got Oshun, very beautiful here. Minerva. So it's got like a little bit of everything across all sorts of different cultures and mythologies. I think it's really beautiful. And again, I think it'll pair well with the other decks. I just love working with this deck. It's a really, really lovely deck to work with. So that's what I'm working with for the month of January. I'd love to hear what you're working with. Also, your thoughts on these decks. Do you have any of these decks? Are they on your wish list? What are you working with for the month of January? I would love to hear. Again, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all my patrons. Thank you for your support. It means so much to me. Happy New Year, everybody. Let's hope 2022 brings us wonderful things. Thank you again for watching.